Alright, guys, the time has come because Edge of Fate is upon us, and I want to rank every single Destiny 2 expansion that we have had since the very beginning of Destiny, and that does include the Red War. So, this is obviously a little bit different to the exotic rankings that I do, so I'm going to break each individual one down. So, we've got Absolute God Roll. This speaks for itself. This is the top most tier when it comes to the best expansion that we have in D2. Then we've got Air is Alright. So it's not trash. It's actually not a bad expansion. It's fun if you play it. I think you'd have a good time. But it's not like, wow, this is a must. This is gonna get Game of the Year or whatever. Then you've got Complete Trash, which is do not touch this. You're not gonna get much from it. It is boring. It is horrible. And it feels like an absolute chore just to get through. And then we've got TBA, which is to be, well, I said that wrong. It should be to be TBD. To be decided. There we go. Each individual expansion, we're going to watch the official launch trailer, and we are going to do them in order. So we're going to start with Destiny 2 Vanilla, the Red War. This is going to be very nostalgic. This was like explosive when we saw this for the first time.
You are weak, undisciplined, cowering behind walls. I command legions, conquered worlds, waged war across the galaxy to prove my worth. I alone am worthy of the Traveler's light. You are not brave. You've merely forgotten the fear of death.
I love that line.
Allow me to reacquaint you.
Oh, man.
Your light is mine.
Pre-order and get open beta early.
Wow, very nostalgic. So Red War obviously was the beginning of Destiny 2, the conclusion of Destiny 1, pretty much, because it told fans that they were not going to continue with Destiny 1. We are in fact going to start a brand new game and continue on from there. So I think immediately when Bungie announced that there's going to be a Destiny 2, regardless of it specifically being about the Red War, I think that did leave a bit of a salty taste in people's mouths, because people were under the impression that they were actually just going to continue with Destiny 1 like they are right now continuing with Destiny 2. So first impressions of this actually wasn't the most amazing. For me, it was hyped. I was actually so excited for this. And then when we saw more trailers, and then eventually we got to the Red War trailer, the launch one, which is the one we just watched, oh my god. Like, it's the first time we've seen the Traveler in a vulnerable situation, other than if you read the lore, but I mean visually in game. It's the first time that we see the main thing, our light, taken away from us. I actually thought that this campaign was insane. I'm not talking about the content and the things to do after the expansion. I'm talking about the story in which the expansion gave to us. And part of the story and the reason as to why the Red War happened in the first place actually has something to do with the 9, which is an expansion that we're literally getting next month. So I just love how these ties from older content is still relevant today. I mean, it goes without saying now, because of the amount of videos that are on the Edge of Fate, that a member of the 4 shut off the satellites, which is what allowed the Red Legion to come through and actually contain the Traveler and its light. That entire thing happened because of a member of the 4. And people have been speaking about that a lot more recently because Edge of Fate and it being all about the 9 basically, and how that member of the 4 got severely punished. But it just goes to show that these things that happen, they all have an impact. So we're still talking about the Red War storyline today because of the expansion being Edge of Fate and all about the 9, so it's still relevant. Unfortunately, you can't play it anymore, which is sad. Obviously, we paid for this, and if I was to go into this campaign right now, I probably still would get the same excited feeling that I had way back when, because I just think it's really good. And honestly, Gull is such an amazing villain. Like, the voice actor, the way that it was written, the actual lore behind Gull is so good. It's really good. I'm actually going to put the Red War campaign in absolute god roll. I know that there's obviously going to be a few people that might disagree with that opinion. You might tend to find that people put it in the it's alright section. I just disagree. I think Red War hit a note that is going to stick around forever. And I mean, think about it, right? The wallpaper that I've used in this little thumbnail for the Red War, we didn't even nearly see that amount of destruction when it came to the final shape. We have never ever seen the last city in this state since then and before then. Moving on from that, we have Curse of Osiris. Let's go check out the trailer for that.
There's been a development on Mercury. X activity there surged exponentially. And at the same time, the most notorious Guardian in Vanguard history has returned. Osiris. Go to Mercury and find Osiris.
Welcome to Mercury. New strikes.
Seconds remaining.
Oh my god, this is when this map got introduced?
This is wonderful.
Oh man. That gun caused so many issues. Oh yeah.
You made that look easy.
Get the expansion pass December 5th.
That's kind of like what we got right now. Alright, Curse of Osiris. This is an interesting one. I'll be honest with you. This really is an interesting one because... So everything in this image right now that you guys are looking at, that is actually the entire map. You can fit the entire map in this one section. So Curse of Osiris brought a lot of negativity. There was only one added strike, I believe. There was only one added lost sector, which sounds crazy back then. Like, adding one lost sector to a brand new map sounds absolutely insane. But obviously, we are going into the Edge of Fate now, where it doesn't even have one lost sector, but that's going to be a whole separate thing that I'll talk about. Interesting. I think it only had one type of public event, or it may have had 2 types of public events, which involved, like, these portals on opposite side and then go into the middle. Obviously, it introduced a brand new type of ghost shell, which was Sagira, which you could unlock from unlocking all of the weapons that are available in Mercury. It brings us the story of Osiris, which was only ever spoken about in the lore of D1. And then, obviously, it brought the Eater of Worlds raid to us as well, immediately after the Leviathan. But again, I'm gonna base this off of the kind of story for Curse of Osiris, like I did with the Red War. There's really not much to say about Curse of Osiris. It really didn't bring much. When obviously people saw that trailer for the first time, it is the very first expansion that Destiny 2 brought to us. Bungie was already in a little bit of a shit position because the launch of D2 also wasn't that great either. But by that point, the player base had changed by then. Like, if you were to get a new expansion in Destiny 1, it was like basically one every 2 years. So when we had Curse of Osiris and how quickly that came out, which I think was within the next year, with such a little amount of things to do in there, yeah, it just wasn't that good. The story, I think, was like 3 or 4 missions long. It really was not good. I wouldn't even say that it was alright, to be honest with you. Like, putting this in It's Alright, I think is an insult to everything else that goes in It's Alright. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put Destiny 2 Curse of Osiris in complete trash. Like, sure, you might find a couple reasons as to why it's actually okay, but when you put that all together as one big collective review, it's really not that good, especially when you compare it to everything else that we've got. That's probably going to go into the it's trash section. Following on from Curse of Osiris, we have got Warmind. Let's just go straight into the trailer. The Akilos weapons. Escalation Protocol. The Frozen Hive. Spire Stars. Oh yeah, that's when we got Polaris Lance. Wardline Zero. A sword that no one uses. Oh, the Huckleberry came with Warmind as well.
Mayday, do you copy? The most dangerous weapon in this system is on this planet, and an entire army of Hive is trying to destroy it. This is a war of many fronts.
Not Chris.
And there's more than one way to fight it.
And you think Rasputin is the answer? It's a broken weapon. Too dangerous to be left alone and too unpredictable to wield. Rasputin was not the only thing to awaken on Mars.
Oh yes, oh. Alright, so Warmind is going to be a little bit of an interesting one because this is the first time we actually had a larger location introduced to D2. I actually thought the area of Mars was really, really sick. Now, there's a few things that this actually brought, and again, I'm going to be talking about the story. It started the in-game lore about the worm gods, which is obviously huge, especially when you get to Lightfall and the final shape, right? But the worm gods was only ever really talked about in the lore, especially Zol. And obviously, it makes sense for them to talk about Zol in the Warmind expansion, because that's where he fled to. Zol was completely under threat that he was going to get eaten alive by Akka. So, yeah, that's why he ended up there. Obviously, you've got Anna Bray there as well. It introduced us to Anna Bray, which we later come to find is sisters with Elsie Bray, which we later come to find is the Stranger. So, the good thing about Warmind, which is something that Curse of Osiris just never did, was it set up a storyline of questions. I am a firm believer that you don't need to have every single question answered in order for it to be a good expansion. Sometimes it's nice to set up these plot lines that later get explained in the story, because it means that everything gets tied together. That's pretty much the main thing that Curse of Osiris didn't really do. Even Red Ward did that with the Nine, like I mentioned. Obviously, the whole reason as to why Zavala is so pissed off with Rasputin is because of the collapse. Because we've got this insane weapon of mass destruction that's supposed to fight back the darkness, and then the moment the darkness actually came into our solar system and caused the collapse, Rasputin basically said, nah, fuck this shit, I'm out. Not getting involved in that one, mate. So yeah, it set up a whole lot of plot storylines. It set up a lot of, you know, future storylines. I definitely do not think Warmind is trash. I know I said I'm going to be basing this off the story. However, we did get the Achilles weapons as well, which were some of the best looking weapons in the game. Warmind is going in, it's alright. Definitely not a God Roll expansion, but I would say it's alright. Next up, we have got the expansion that literally restarted, revamped, reimagined, and reignited Destiny 2. And of course, I am talking about Forsaken.
We should have been there.
Well, this is awkward. You got a gun I can borrow?
This is not your fault.
Any last words?
Wow. With his own gun.
How's your sister?
They didn't use the noise razor space though.
For Cade. This is on the head of Aldrin Sov.
My friends, my barons, go unleash chaos.
The three of us want the same thing, Spider. Aldrin and his barons. Dead.
Wow.
Cannot wait to see how this ends.
We are not an army. We are not conquerors. We need to keep our eyes on our home, our people.
This is Cade we're talking about. For us to do nothing is
Say it.
cowardice.
I refuse to bury any more friends.
You won't have to. Aldrin Sov is mine.
That's, I think, the only time that our character talks in any trailer. I think. Any launch trailer. Hey, we got malfeasance.
So, this is to be a reckoning.
New supers.
I know where Aldrin is. Baron scheme.
You have no idea what he's done.
The line between light and dark
Ooh.
is so very thin.
The famous line.
Do you know which side you're on?
We will take the reef by storm. All of us, every Titan, every warlock, every hunter. If he thinks what he's done is the end, it's not. It's the beginning.
You gotta promise me. Put Aldrin in the ground.
We have a deal.
Man,
To Forsaken.
that trailer even hits hard today. Now, Forsaken was absolutely huge. Forsaken literally reignited Destiny. I actually do believe that if Forsaken never happened, Bungie would actually be in such a worse position right now. I don't even think Bungie would probably even be around right now because they needed Forsaken to happen. Now, this is the final expansion that we get where Bungie are part of Activision as well. So this is kind of like the final goodbye from Activision in a way as well. But Forsaken brought a lot. And I'm not just talking gameplay. I'm not just talking mechanics. I am actually talking about specifically the story and the lore, just like the other expansions. We got Drifter, we got Aldrin Sov, well, we got the Scorn, which is huge because they're tied to the darkness. We got the Ahamkara Riven with the Last Wish raid. And I know I said I'm talking about the lore, but we also got two destinations with this because obviously we got the Dreaming City, which is the most beautiful location I think we've ever got. And we've also got the Tangled Shore. Obviously, the Tangled Shore is gone right now, and unfortunately, players are not able to actually play the storyline of Forsaken. Obviously, with the Edge of Fate coming out next month, they're going down a non-linear route when it comes to the campaign. Forsaken kind of did that as well, because you could go and kill the Barons in pretty much any order that you wanted and progress the campaign in kind of any Baron order that you wanted. This set up a lot. This set up why we have Crow in the game right now. The story is absolutely incredible. The lore that it brought to the table is absolutely incredible. I can talk for hours about Forsaken and the actual significant impact that it actually had on the future of Destiny in regards to specifically the lore as well. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. It just goes without saying. I really don't even need to talk about it as long as what I am right now. This is 100% an absolute god roll of an expansion. Bang that straight. into God roll. Up next, after Forsaken, we have got Shadowkeep. Now, again, I'm just going to go straight to the trailer, and then I'll give my thoughts on it immediately after we finish watching it.
Listen to the shadows. They whisper death.
Welcome. We've been waiting.
Oh, yeah.
It knows we're coming. I can sense it.
You know that thing that goes bump in the night? Become that thing.
This trailer is actually pretty good. Oh, is this Transmog? I think this is when we got Transmog. Leviathan's Breath. New dungeon. Oh my god, we got Guardian of Salvation with this as well. Xenophage.
Work to do.
Finishers. Transmog. No, we actually got finally some new maps.
Someone please bring this guardian. His
Ariana's Vow. Alright, so Shadowkeep is another interesting one because in terms of story, it actually did a really, really good job because, again, it introduced a lot of things to us. It introduced us the Guardian of Salvation, which is huge for the Light and Darkness saga lore because, obviously, we got the Soul Divisive Vex. That, obviously, is tied into the Black Heart. The Black Heart is huge for the Light and Darkness saga lore as well. It's also the first time that we get introduced to the Witness, too. The Witness, obviously, talking through your ghost. When he says, welcome, we've been waiting, that's the Witness talking to you. Also, let me remind you, the intro to Shadowkeep was 10 out of 10. Because you didn't know what to expect. It's not included in this trailer at all. When you go around that corner and you see the pyramid ship in the background, which we later come to find out is Nezarek's pyramid ship, by the way, like, is absolutely insane. The story beats was insane. Like, oh my god, like, I can't even start with the lore when it comes to this. Max, what do you think of Shadowkeep?
Yeah.
Nice. The Black Garden is absolutely huge in regards to the lore of Destiny because the Black Garden also introduces the game that we all know and love that created the solar system with the red and white flowers on the ground, which represents the Gardener and the Winnower. The actual story of Shadowkeep is very, very good. Now, here's the negatives, because obviously I can preach a lot when it comes to the positives of a lot of these expansions, to be honest with you. The negatives about the story is there were a few issues with what direction it was going in, because there were so many things happening in Shadowkeep that it just felt very messy. So let me talk about that. Welcome, we've been waiting. That's introducing the Witness for the first time. Obviously, we don't know that it's the Witness at the time. That's fine. Open question, totally okay. Then you've got Savathun's hive in the spire. Okay, where is Savathun? What is she doing? We don't get told that at all in Shadowkeep, especially the story of Shadowkeep. The very first mission, we get introduced to the pyramid ship. Okay, that's another storyline because we don't know that the Witness is connected to the pyramid. So what direction is that going in? Then you've got the Garden of Salvation raid. What does that lead to? Why do we have the Garden of Salvation raid? There was a few things that just didn't quite, connect together as well as what they should. A lot of things going into different directions. And keep in mind, if we're including the Red War campaign, this is technically storyline 4 that we're getting. And immediately after you have something like Forsaken, it does make you think, what is going on. Now, in terms of gameplay, again, I know I'm basing this specifically off the lore of expansions, but we did get a lot come to Shadowkeep. We got Transmog, we got Xenophage, we got a lot of exotics that are still used today in the game. We got the moon as the location. We got Eris Morn come back. Eris Morn is obviously huge for the story, absolute fan favorite when it comes to us D1 veterans. We absolutely love Eris Morn. The thing is I just don't think it's as good and is as impactful as Forsaken, or even the Red War campaign. If we're going by the actual kind of package and the way that it's structured, when you walk around a corner in Shadowkeep, you see a pyramid ship, and that's wow, and that's oh my god, and that's insane. When you walk around a corner for the first mission on the Red War campaign, you see death everywhere. People are dead on the ground. The tower is completely destroyed. The last city is on fire, and the very thing that gives you life and resurrects you is in a complete standstill, caged around, preventing you from giving you the light. The impact is just completely different, and it just hits different. So as much as I do like Shadowkeep, it's alright. It's okay. I would say that that's a pretty fair analysis. Alright, Shadowkeep, you're going in. It's alright. Alright, up next, we have got the very thing that defined me as a person. The very thing that I love most about the gameplay of Destiny 2. And that is, of course, Stasis, which came in Beyond Light. Let's go. Let's talk about Beyond Light. Here's the trailer.
The light and dark ready themselves for a new phase. So must we.
I don't even think I'm going to be able to use this music now that I think about it.
The day we've been dreading has finally arrived. The darkness is here. We are deploying Guardians to all corners of the system to find answers.
I'm picking up a distress signal. Someone's in trouble.
Hey, we got Varric's back.
We are all in great danger.
The Stranger. The
Vanguard
Puka.
recognizes the light. Someone has to do the same for the dark.
That's OP. We don't have that as a stasis ability.
We must use it for good.
This power is a gift. One I will share with all of you. One by one.
Oh my god, I love the voice.
We'll rise again.
There it is. Oh, we got Briggs as well. Yeah, I remember that. Le Lament. No time to explain.
Darkness. There is only one truth. Death.
Pyramid structures.
You are not special. The darkness is mine.
Ah, man. Alright, so Beyond Light, when it comes to gameplay mechanics and things like that, did not hit hard at all. However, the actual story of Beyond Light hit a level that I don't even think people fully understand. And I'm just going to tell you that right now. Beyond Light's story was absolutely insane. We get more introduced to the Witness, who talks to us immediately at the very beginning of the expansion. This is the first time we get proper pyramid architecture, where we actually go to pyramid locations. We get a new subclass which is given to us by the Witness so that we can become a disciple. Speaking of disciples, we literally get introduced to the very first disciple, which is Aramis. We get introduced to the Stranger, which talks about alternate timelines, and then we get introduced to the Dark Future lore book, which is basically a different timeline that the Stranger has been around, which she's seen different characters that we know and love going completely different directions, like Zavala dying, for example, which not many people know about. We even got No Time to Explain, and you might be thinking to yourself, well, No Time to Explain as a weapon is just okay. Why are you even mentioning No Time to Explain? No. No Time to Explain in Destiny 2, not the No Time to Explain that you get given at the end of the D1 campaign. I'm talking about the No Time to Explain that you get as a pre-order bonus in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. It actually unlocked more lore about the Vault of Glass. And if you guys don't know the lore about the Vault of Glass with Kabir, Pahanin, and Praedif, then go and watch that. Go and read that. And why am I saying that this all ties together? Because when Praedif got stuck in the Vault of Glass, which by the way is still in the Vault of Glass today, but just if you're wondering, Praedif saw multiple timelines when being stuck in the Vault of Glass and was only allowed to hear and listen to specific things that the Vex allowed Praedif to listen to. One of the characters that Praedif saw in multiple timelines was the Stranger. Praedif saw the Stranger so many times whilst being locked into the Vault of Glass and just seeing different timelines and different alternate realities, and based the No Time to Explain pulse rifle from the pulse rifle that you get at the end of Destiny 1 and helped make the No Time to Explain weapon that we get from the Stranger in Beyond Light. How did the Stranger get the No Time to Explain pulse rifle? Because she came across Praedif in the multiple timelines that is stuck in the Vault of Glass. That lore is absolutely insane. I very briefly touched upon that on me just telling you this right now. It goes a lot deeper than that. I can guarantee you now, not many people knew that about the No Time to Explain pulse rifle that we actually get given in Beyond Light. So many people were upset when they saw No Time to Explain for the very first time in Beyond Light because people were like, hold on, that's not the gun that we know and love. Brother, it's because you need to actually understand the lore of it. It's based off the original weapon, based on multiple timelines, by someone that's stuck in a Vault of Glass right now, which is a whole different kettle of fish when it comes to lore. Yeah, Beyond Light was absolutely insane. And I'm just talking about one weapon. That was one weapon, by the way. The actual overall lore is just absolutely incredible. We get introduced to the very first Darkness power. We get introduced to a whole new archetype. We get introduced more to the Witness. We get pyramid architecture, which is what you're looking at in the background. Yeah, this unlocked a lot of amazing things for the lore of Destiny. So as well as Beyond Light may not have been well received when it came to the actual gameplay and things to do and the overall response of the expansion, the actual lore side of it was honestly god tier. It was very, very good. A lot of things that people love right now when it comes to the lore of Destiny, when it comes to Final Shape lore, when it comes to Lightfall lore, that started from this expansion. That is just the reality of the situation. It's unconfirmed which disciple the pyramid ship on Europa actually belongs to, but going by the lore that we understand from the Final Shape, pyramid ships are actually sentient. So some of them don't even have disciples. Some of them don't have an actual commander. So you tend to find that the Witness actually commands a lot of the pyramid ship that just don't have a disciple assigned to them. So as far as we're concerned right now, based on the lore, the actual pyramid ship, which is on Europa, doesn't have a disciple. But yeah, I'm actually going to put Beyond Light in terms of lore and story and the amount that it actually unlocks for us that we know and love today. I haven't even touched the surface of what it brings us, to be honest with you, based on the time of this video. I'm putting this in exotic tier. 100% without a doubt. And no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Stasis main. Alright, Beyond Light, absolute god roll. Alright, up next we have got Destiny 2, the Witch Queen. Let's go into the Witch Queen. I love the model of Savathun. So good.
Hello, old friend. I've chased you for a long time.
Savathun, the Witch Queen.
The music is so good.
The Vanguard,
Ziva Arath?
From within. Stealing our most sacred resource.
The Worm Gods?
The light.
How do we stop this?
Oh man, it's so good. The raid. The fact that they only showed 3 Guardians there, by the way.
Welcome back, oh honored guest.
Oh man, this trailer is so good.
It is the mind that must bend to see the truths hidden here.
New finishers. Oh my god. I completely forgot that. That's Falling Guillotine. New stasis abilities. Parasite.
The game is yours to play now.
Oh man. Lucent Hive. This is definitely getting demonetized. I can't use this music, which is why I'm talking over it right now. Ah! Oh, man. And there it is!
Just don't say.
Oh, man.
I didn't warn you.
Oh my god, we have got a lot to say when it comes to the Witch Queen campaign. Now, people were actually wondering at the very beginning, why is this called the Witch Queen and not something else? Well, it's because we've got the Taken King. I am fairly confident that we are going to get an expansion based on Ziva Arath. You cannot make the Taken King the Witch Queen and not make an expansion called the Hive God of War. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do feel like we are going to get a expansion on Ziva Arath since the other two sisters got expansions themselves as well. The Witch Queen did something absolutely huge. It introduced us to Thunderman. It introduced us to Syzygy. Now, a lot of people who know and love the lore like myself would know what those things are anyway. However, a lot of people that play just the game of Destiny and understand the story of Destiny just by playing these campaigns and storylines probably didn't know much about that. It also introduced us to the Witness. Oh my god, there's so much. There's so much. Now, yes, I said that the Witness got introduced at the very beginning of Shadowkeep, and that's absolutely true when we hear the ghost. However, at the time, we don't know that that's specifically the Witness. Here, at the end, when you complete the Witch Queen campaign, we get the actual visual representation of the Witness. And it's absolutely incredible. And a lot of people took the piss saying that he looks like Megamind and all this stupid shit. I thought he was sick from the very start. And now he's one of the most loved villains of all time. The voice of the Witness is absolutely insane. And I could listen to it just for hours. Yeah, the Witch Queen was insane. It hit Syzygy, it hit Disciple, it hit Darkness, it hit Hive Lore, it hit... Oh my god, we got Rogue. We got Rogue. The actual lore of Rogue is absolutely incredible. If you don't know the lore of Rogue, you need to go and listen to that, and you need to go and watch that. Rogue was actually the very, very first disciple that the Witness ever accumulated. It hit so many perfect notes. Obviously, we get introduced to Savathûn because the season, I can't remember specifically what season it was, but obviously Savathûn took over the body of Osiris, and now we get Savathûn as an actual model. It's the first time that the Hive actually got given the power of the light. Obviously, we've got Savathûn, which is able to wield the power of the light now as well with her ghost Amaru. Amaru is the best ghost show I think I've ever seen. I would actually love an Amaru ghost. The raid was really good. The raid was considered one of the best raids we had ever got in Destiny, regardless of Last Wish. The lore is just... yeah, wow. Bungie obviously didn't give us a new subclass in this, but obviously we were absolutely okay with that because the story hit so many story beats that we knew and love. There just isn't enough time in this video for me to go deep as far as what I would love to go when it comes to the actual lore of this. We get introduced to Ziva Arath before she became, you know, what we know and love today, the Hive God of War. We get introduced to the worm that Savathûn holds, which is talking to her throughout the entire journey that they went on Fundament to go down into the deep. And then it tells us more about the Leviathan that they came across. And obviously the Leviathan is wounded at the time when the three sisters go down, which is how they're able to just simply bypass the Leviathan and go straight to the worm gods. How was the Leviathan wounded? It was wounded because Rogue went down into the deep before the three sisters went down into the deep and ripped out part of the rib cage of the Leviathan, which is the massive bone structure that you see in the first main encounter of the raid that's on screen right now. That's the whole reason as to why Zeta isn't down there when the three sisters go down there and speak to the worm gods, because by that point Rogue had already been down there and taken Zeta out. Oh my god, it's a whole thing. I just cannot talk enough about it. It's just so good. You guys need to play this if you haven't already. You guys need to research the lore if you haven't already, because it's just absolutely incredible. God roll. It's going in God roll. It's going in God roll. Such a fucking good expansion, man. Alright, and just when you think it couldn't get any better, you'd be absolutely right, because we are now moving into Lightfall.
What is that?
The Witness.
The Witness.
Let me hear the voice, please.
The malefactor of our first collapse is at our doorstep.
You have no purpose.
Oh my god.
Because you fear to seek one.
Vanguard to all units. Keep the enemy away from the Traveler.
Oh my
At
god.
all cost.
I understand what's at stake, Lightbearer. Not all of us have lives to spare.
Your fear brings you pain.
Oh no! Oh man, the lore behind that is insane. Poor Reed 7.
The battle begins here, now.
Oh yeah, we got Strand. Alright, so Lightfall obviously hit many negative notes. The actual campaign was trash. It was trash. They literally edged you throughout the entire campaign, giving you Strand, taking away Strand, then learning Strand in like a 20-second cutscene, and now you're just a god at Strand. And the way that you unlock the other aspects and fragments of Strand wasn't really that good either, to be honest with you. But I'm gonna be basing this off the lore, not the gameplay or the mechanics. The actual lore of Lightfall really wasn't that good. I'll be honest with you, because at this point, this was like our Infinity War to our endgame. You know what I mean? The actual story part of this when it comes to Lightfall, I don't care about the Neomunians. The whole reason and lore behind the Neomunians is so basic and not even really touched upon, to be honest with you. And yes, it introduced us Nezarec. I understand that. But even still, like Nezarec, the disciple of nightmares, and we've got like a whole species going into some virtual world so that they can escape the nightmares of Nezarec, I just think is a really lazy way to not give us character models of an actual civilization on a new location, to be honest with you. You got Rohan, which dies like pretty much second or third mission in, which is the best Neomunian in my opinion, voiced by the voice actor of Kratos. Oh, by the way, that actually reminds me, Deborah Wilson, voice acts Savathun, 10 out of 10 voice actor, absolutely love her. I did want to say that in my Witch Queen one, but I didn't say that, so I'm saying that now. But yes, the actual story of Lightfall absolutely cock teased us. Look at my screen right now. You've got pyramid ships, you've got a fleet battle. None of that is in the expansion whatsoever. You could put the very beginning cutscene of Lightfall, and you can put the very ending cutscene of Lightfall, and it would be seamless. It would be seamless, and it would be as if nothing we did ever kind of happened. It gave us Callus as a disciple. We finally defeat Callus, as he's been cock teasing us since the Leviathan raid of D2 Vanilla. Yeah, I don't know. It just, a lot of the great lore points when it comes to Lightfall is just in the books, to be honest with you. You could play the actual storyline of Lightfall and not really know much about what you specifically need to know. Yes, it gave us Tormentors, however, the Dread mainly get introduced. This is Reed 7, by the way. Reed 7 had his face and his ghost cut in half. I was a little bit disappointed that they actually put Reed 7 in just standard armor, because the actual lore behind Shayera and Reed 7 is that they are an insane, sweaty Trials of Osiris team, and Shayera has always been referenced as wearing Trials armor. I reckon they should have put Reed 7 in Trials armor as well. We got this amazing intro cinematic cutscene of the Black Fleet completely destroying and killing people. We see the Witness going through the Traveler's Beam here, which we eventually get in a gun, obviously, which is in the form of Microcosm. But yeah, like I said, as much as this cutscene is absolutely incredible and it made everyone go, wow, this is absolutely sick, we didn't get this at all in the actual expansion. When I think Black Fleet, when I think Collapse, when I think Darkness, I don't think of Callus. I really don't care about Callus. Callus should not have been the final boss to a Light and Darkness Saga expansion. He just shouldn't have been. The structure of Lightfall was terrible. No one knew what the Veil was, but they were talking to you throughout the entire campaign as if you should know what the Veil is. Obviously, we know what the Veil is now, but when you finished Lightfall, people were still like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Yeah, not the best. Definitely not the best. So I think we're just automatically, by default, going to be putting Destiny 2 Lightfall in the trash expansion. I would even go as far as to say, if we're putting lore and grimoire cards and lore books to one side and Ishtar collectives to one side, the main thing that I actually love so much about Lightfall was the cinematic cutscenes that we've got with the Witness, and that is it. Because like I said, you can trim all of those things out, put them all together into one very quick short movie, and you'd be fine. Moving on from that, we have got one of the greatest things of all time. And when I start the sentence with that sentence, you already know where I'm going to put this, and you already know what it is. I am, of course, talking about Destiny 2, The Final Shape. Can't wait for the copyright strike on this one as well. I love it so much. I love it so much.
The Witness nears the final shape.
Oh man, it's just...
It's reshaping reality
on a different level.
into a perfect stillness. I'm done burying my friends.
It's the end of everything.
We get Cade back.
Might as well try to stop.
Cade has been in the 2 expansions that have absolutely popped off for Destiny.
Together. Into the end.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Place.
It's hard to describe. An infection. Festering.
You said it spoke to you.
The Witness shows us what it thinks we want. It's a lie.
Light bearer. Let us lift the weight of...
Oh, I love it, man.
Join us.
Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it! I love it so much.
Zavala, please, don't do this.
It's just too good, man. All out war, man. All out war.
Nobody makes my fate but me.
Oh, this part as well. Oh my god. The final shape. Right, before I start talking about this, Max, what did you think of the final shape?
Yeah.
Exactly. The final shape was 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 20 out of 10, 100 out of 10. The Witness, incredible, 10 out of 10. Oh my god, everything was so good about the final shape. Not only was the lore absolutely insane, but we got conclusions to a lot of storylines in the final shape as well. We got the conclusion of Aramis. We got the conclusion of Cade. We got so much. We got the precursors. Man, the final shape is such a perfect expansion. I love everything about it. I don't think it has any faults with it whatsoever. It hit every story beat that we could possibly get, that we actually wanted to get in the final shape. To be fair, right, the only thing that I'm actually sad about is the fact that the Witness is gone. The fact that we killed the Witness at the end just makes me so upset, because obviously it was supposed to happen because it's the final shape, but I just didn't want the Witness to die. Absolutely most favorite villain of all time. I just love the amount of conclusions it brought to the lore. I just love it so much. We get Cade introduce the Vanguard Dare to Crow. There are so many people in the game right now that play the game that don't even know what the Vanguard Dare is, or what you have to go through in order to succeed through the Vanguard Dare. I'm not going to talk about that in this video because we'll be talking about it for a very, very long time. We've got Zavala question everything about the light. The very person that literally stood by the light from the very beginning is now having to second question everything and even contemplate moving over to the Witness. Obviously it doesn't happen. His ghost Tarj dies by the Witness. It literally gets crushed in its hand, so he gains the power of stasis. He actually gets Ikora to teach him the power of stasis as she's using Strand. We get Salvation's Edge as well, which gets introduced to us at the end of the Final Shape campaign. And then when the very first fire team completed Salvation's Edge, it then unlocks the final mission for the Final Shape, where we see our ghost let out this huge light beam, and then our ghost dies. Oh my god, it's an absolute whole thing. And then obviously you get our Avengers Endgame moment where all the Guardians, all the factions come down. Hive, Elixni, Neomuna, again, doesn't really matter. Fucking Marasov, we get all of them come in at the end. Drifter, Eris Morn, Mithrax, fucking Cabal. We get Keitel there. they all come in for the final stand, the final battle, as we go in to take on the darkness. Guys, I'm not going to talk too much about this because it really just does speak for itself. The final shape, absolute god roll. In fact, I would actually go as far as to say that it gets its own tier. I'm going to put its own tier and I'm just going to call it S. And it's going to be red. It's going to be red. Boom. Final shape, you get your own tier because you are just above everything all else. The final shape is a combination of everything below it put into one. And more. And lastly, we have got the Edge of Fate. Now, Edge of Fate doesn't have a launch trailer, so we're just gonna watch the intro cinematic. We'll watch the gameplay trailer. This is what we're going into next month.
Observe, connect, conceal.
Lodi?
I had a vision. Conform, comply, return. They just wanted to show us disasters. Observe, connect, conceal. I'm not human anymore.
I love that. I'm not human anymore.
Conform, comply. No one else should know what this feels like.
The new mechanics. The music is so good as well. It reminds me of marathon music, which I do actually like. Graviton Spike. I can't wait to use this exotic.
Terminate your suspicion, Commander.
It sounds like the Witness.
Your scornful blindfold.
Observe, connect, conceal, conform, comply, return. Observe, connect.
Looks good. Oh, the collapse! The collapse during Chicago! I cannot wait to see this cutscene, by the way. I really hope that this is an actual, like, fully fledged cinematic, to be honest with you, because this is literally Chicago during the collapse. I'm very, very excited for that. Now, obviously, I cannot really base my correct opinion on the Edge of Fate, so that is what's going to be going into the TBD section. However, it does look good. Do I expect it to be as big as the final shape? No. Do I expect it to be as big as Forsaken? No. Do I expect it to be as big as Witch Queen? Yes, I do, actually. I expect it to be as good as Witch Queen, hopefully, if not better. That's kind of the size that I'm putting together in my mind. I know, obviously, that they have already said it's, you know, Rise of Iron size. That's fine. I don't care really how big the expansion is. I just want the lore to make sense, and I want the lore to be good. Now, the reason why the Edge of Fate is kind of going to be separate from everything above it is because this is now a new saga. This is not part of the Light and Darkness saga, whereas everything literally above it is. So I'm not expecting really questions to be answered in this. I'm expecting this to set up a whole chain of events, which we're going to know, love, and find out more about later as the saga goes on. So yeah. That's what I'm expecting for the Edge of Fate. I am excited for it. Anyway, guys, I am going to throw it off to you. What do you think of the order that I've put this in? Would you change anything about this order? Do you think S tier relates to the final shape? Would you actually say that the Red War campaign is an absolute god roll? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Max, what do you think of the tier list that I put together here? Brilliant. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for your time today, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.